challenging. Let's start scribes of prophets. So scribes meaning of the scribes is that these people were responsible to write the revelations of Quran. Okay. So there were a number of companions who acted as the scribes of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and they each had different tasks such as writing the revelation, recording public contracts and transactions, and letters sent from Prophet, peace be upon him, to other leaders. Yani all the tasks that were related to writing, they were divided among the scribes of Prophet, peace be upon him. So the number one scribe of Prophet, peace be upon him, was Zaid bin Sabit. Zaid bin Sabit was one of the most prominent scribes of Revelation. He used to write the Revelation while Prophet, peace be upon him, was alive. Subsequently, he brought Quran in the written form. Yani he arranged the written book of Quran during the caliphate of Hazrat Abu Bakr, and he was asked by the Prophet, peace be upon him, to learn Hebrew so he could respond on Prophet's behalf to the Jews who wrote to him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, used to instruct the scribes about the sequence in which a revealed message was to be placed in a particular surah. In this manner, the Prophet, peace be upon him, arranged the text of the Quran in a systematic order till the end of the chain of revelations. Zaid bin Sabit reported, "We used to record the Quran from parchments in the presence of Messenger of God. Some companions who did not write down the revelation had memorized them instead of their versions, and their versions were used to verify the written copies after the Prophet's death." Then we have Ubay ibn Ka'b. He memorized the Quran and is said to have his own written portions of the Quran and wrote letters to the head of state for Prophet, peace be upon him. Abdullah ibn Masud, he was known for his knowledge of Quran. The Prophet said about him, "Whoever wants to read the Quran as fresh as when it was revealed, then let him read according to the recitation of Ibn Abd." He was someone who wrote portions of the Quran. Then Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, he was one of the first companions to write the Prophet's sayings. He sought the messenger's specific permission, asking, "May I write down everything I hear from you in the states of contentment and anger?" He replied, "Yes, for I speak nothing but truth." He had a book journal that he had kept to record the hadiths from Prophet, peace be upon him. Due to this, he is one of the main narrators of Ahadith Mubarakah. Abu Huraira, none of the Abu Huraira said, "None of the Sahaba would narrate more ahadith mubarakah from me except Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. He would write them down more than me." Then we have Khalid bin Walid. So Khalid bin Walid is one of the most important scribes, like Zaid bin Sabit. So the most important scribes that you need to remember is Khalid bin Walid and Zaid bin Sabit. Other than that, you can just skim through the details of other companions. So Khalid bin Walid we'll cover a whole portion of Khalid bin Walid in paper two as well during the caliphates. Okay, he was from a family who opposed the Prophet in Makkah, and although he did not take part in Battle of Badr, he played a vital role in the Battle of Uhud against the Muslims, turning the Muslim victory to defeat. Initially, he was a non-Muslim. Then he became a Muslim during the times of Treaty of Hudaybiyah. He was sent with an expedition by Makkans to intercept Muslim delegations at the time of Hudaybiyah treaty. He converted to Islam after Treaty of Hudaybiyah. In 629, Khalid set out for Medina. On the way, he met Abar ibn al-As and Usman ibn Talha, who were going to Medina to convert to Islam. After conversion, he took part in Battle of Muta. It was the first battle between the Romans and the Muslims. He reported that the fighting was so intense that he used 9 swords, which broke in the battle. Khalid took over Zaid ibn Harisa, then Jafar ibn Abi Talib, then Abdullah ibn Rawaha were killed. It was because of him that the Muslims returned safely. He subsequently took part in conquest of Makkah, Battle of Hunain, and Battle of Tabuk, and was present in farewell pilgrimage of Prophet. He died in 642 in Syria. So yes, Khalid bin Walid, a question can come. I have not seen a question as yet, but a question can come on Khalid bin Walid. More specifically, the question can come in paper two. Okay, so do not worry about paper two. We have not started the portion of caliphates, but yes, Khalid bin Walid is an important name along with Zaid bin Sabit for scribes. Now we have emigrants and helpers. So emigrants, like I just discussed, that the residents of Makkah The residents of Makkah who had to leave all their belongings behind and migrate to Medina Tayyibah due to persecutions of Makkans are called emigrants, and those who were the residents of Medina Tayyibah at Yasra, they are called Ansars, Ansars meaning helpers. Tika Ansars had started to accept Islam as a result of pledges of Aqaba and had invited the Prophet, peace be upon him, to their city because they were looking for a leader at that time. They welcomed immigrants open-heartedly to unite the two groups. Prophet, peace be upon him, made them brothers during the event of Mawakhat, pairing each of the Ansar with the Muhajirin. This was to help each other materially and spiritually. The Ansars had already been eager to help their migrating brothers and sisters with accommodation and food. The Prophet, peace be upon him, gathered the two groups and started calling out to the name of one Ansar and one Muhajir. The Prophet, peace be upon him, took Ali as his own brother. Then Saad bin Ibn Rabi and Abdurrahman bin Auf were made brothers, and Saad was willing to share half his property and divorce one of his wives for Abdurrahman to marry. He refused, saying, "Direct me to the nearest marketplace so that I may make my own fortune with my own hands." The Ansars wanted to share their date palms with the Muhajirin, but the Muhajirin refused. So the Ansars offered them to work in their orchards, and in return, they were given dates. In this way, the people of Medina gave protection and material assistance to their Makkan brothers, and the Makkans came with their faith to share and spread in Medina. The virtue of these two groups had already been mentioned in Quran. Those who believe and emigrated and carried out jihad in the way of Allah, and their wealth and lives are greater in rank in sight of Allah, and it is they who are successful. So this is it for immigrants and helpers. Now we have nature of Prophet. Then the last topic that we'll be left with, and we'll cover that tomorrow, is important personalities of Islam. So we'll do that topic tomorrow. This is the last topic for today, nature of Prophet. So if a question comes on nature of Prophet, because usually they do give this question of 10 marks, so it's very easy to answer. The meaning, you have to just write about the lifetime of Nabi Kareem, that before preaching Islam, he was known as Sadiq and Amin, and he never indulged into the practices of Jahiliyyah, and he was patient, he waited for guidance and did not rush the message to hurry people into accepting Islam. Rather, he preached Islam in a very soft manner, and his patience was shown when people used to throw rubbish on him, call him names, and commit other atrocities. He never retaliated, nor did he get angry at them. Yani, you can also write the event of Taif, where the boys wounded him so much that his shoes were filled with blood. So this is all the part of nature of Prophet, that he was very forgiving and he never cursed anybody. And his enemies would come to him when he was praying and try to disturb his prayer by whistling and clapping, but the Prophet, peace be upon him, would not say anything or confront them. And the intestines of a camel were put on his back while prostrating. He did not react or get angry, but stayed in that position until his daughter came and took it off his back. He also showed patience while preaching Islam in Makkah. Remember, he was also called Akhtar when his sons died, so you can write that fact as well, that he showed great amount of patience and never cursed anybody in return. Despite his best efforts, only a handful of people accepted Islam. Most of them were poor or slaves, but that did not deter him from believing in his mission and continued to strive patiently. His patience was also shown when he, along with his old clan, were put under Baikor by the Makkans, and at the end of it, he lost those closest to him in a short period of time, namely Khadija and Abu Talib. Instead of despairing, he sought the reward of God by praying to him, and he waited for Allah Ta'ala to allow him to migrate despite the risk to his life. Prophet, peace be upon him, showed immense patience throughout his life in Medina, where he had to suffer conspiracies of Jewish tribes as well as hypocrisies of the leaders in Medina. This included the actions of Abdullah bin Ubay, who often used to misbehave with Prophet, peace be upon him, and betrayed him on several occasions, but he never retaliated. The quality of forgiveness is to not want to punish someone who, when they have been wronged. And Aisha said that Prophet, peace be upon him, never took revenge on anyone for himself. At the time for his visit to Taif, Angel Jibril came to him and said that he can crush the people between the two mountains, but the Prophet, peace be upon him, refused and prayed for their guidance instead. When returning to Makkah, the Prophet, peace be upon him, forgave many people who had been prominent in persecuting him and his companions, example Abu Sufyan. So you need to mention all the events that took place and depict the nature of Prophet as most forgiving, because he never retaliated despite facing all of the hardships. So he was very forgiving, he was truthful, he was trustworthy, he was soft hearted, and he also forgave Vahshi, who killed his uncle Hamza, as well as Hind, who chewed on Hamza's liver. So all of these examples should be a part of your script when you are writing about Nabi Kareem. Abdullah bin Ubay was one of the hypocrites who opposed Prophet peace be upon him, whilst outwardly saying he supported him. Despite this, Prophet, peace be upon him, seemed to show no animosity for Abdullah when he died, attending his funeral and praying at his grave. So, this is also an important example that Abdullah bin Ubay was the biggest hypocrite, and he opposed Nabi Kareem. He misbehaved with Nabi Kareem, yet Nabi Kareem was present in his funeral, and he prayed at his grave and led his funeral. So, all of these are the great qualities of Nabi Kareem. And with this, we have completed a major part of our Islamic community. Tomorrow, we'll just do the important personalities. And with that, we'll cover paper one content.